My name's Patrick Davidson, and the film is The World We Want. It's a film about kids all over the world. There's a program that takes place in 65 countries, including the United States. And kids get involved in an issue in their local community and say, this is something I want to fight for. And I followed 8 of those stories. And then we had the kids come together in Washington, D.C. So you not only get to see them in Indonesia and India and Bosnia and so on, you get to see the kids meet and interact with 33 other countries. So it's a story about empowerment, because the kids are great. They're like 12, 13, 14-year-olds, and they take on issues that range from polluted water to gambling, and they go all the way to the top officials and fight for change in their communities. And the film shows the transformation of the kids. You see how they start out saying, I don't think we can do this, I don't know how to do it, and you see at the end of the day, they really make a change. The experience for me has been extraordinary, life-changing. I mean, it sounds trite, it really does. When you're not just telling someone's story, but they invite you into their home. And we were in home and want to feed you and have a feast for you and the crew in India and Indonesia and Senegal. And you get to know people and see their lives and touch them. It's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I've been very, very lucky. I've done a lot of different things. This, far and away, is the most important thing and the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Quite frankly, the challenge most filmmakers face, independent filmmakers, which is raising the money, has now ranked as the lowest. I was able to get people to invest in it very quickly because they saw what it was about, what we were trying to do. But the challenges, they were, some were humorous, some were painful. We were traveling like any filmmaker. We had 12 cases of equipment, and when you're going in and out of Samara, Russia, it's not all that easy. And when you're trying to film inside a casino in Samara, Russia, it's not all that easy. You can't do that here in the United States, much less do it there. We were very small crew, myself, my wife, who was a production manager, a camera person, and a sound person. That was it. So everybody else, we actually trained locally. We picked up people in Indonesia who'd never worked on a film before, but they were very well-meaning, and they were terrific, and they were incredibly organized in Indonesia, and in other places, not so organized. We shot in Colombia, in the mountains of Medellin, and to get there, we were under armed guard. Because it's a war zone. In fact, we were told we were the first people from North America ever to go to the village, and it is gorgeous. Alejandría is unbelievably spectacular. So there were those challenges. Another big challenge that I didn't think about when I put it together was I only speak English, and we went to 8 countries: Russia, Indonesia, Senegal. I mean, Senegal alone, in the classroom, they speak French because it was a French colony. But in the village we were in, Rospetio, they speak Wolof. So I had to getting the French translated wasn't all that difficult, but to find someone who could translate the Wolof was more difficult. We shot more than 100 hours of film, which is not surprising for a documentary. We have 1,500 pages of transcription because we had to transcribe every single interview. And as a filmmaker, and as for those people who have edited them, unless you know exactly what they're saying, how do you edit? How do you know what to lift out? And in this case, it was particularly difficult because many of the translators, wanted to make the kids sound good. In other words, they paraphrased what they said. So we didn't have necessarily word-to-word translations of the interviews and the dialogue. It was a real challenge. The editor, Joanne Nuco, did an unbelievable job. Find something you're passionate about, because that's what you're going to put your time into. I've spent 3 years making this film. It was the best 3 years, one of the best 3 years of my life. I have 2 daughters, and I say this is the film is my 3rd child. And it was worth every minute, and it continues to be. This is an extraordinary experience. Seeing people, I showed it to 2 groups of kids in the last week, 2 groups of 300 kids. Talk about a tough audience. It's 100 minutes long. And to have kids sit on Halloween morning to watch a film, and they were riveted. And they cheered at the end. And for me, it was goosebump time. It doesn't get better than that.